Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. We have a short and sweet review for you all today. I feel like people have been asking about this. Not a lot of people have been opening the bottles, but recently Heaven Hill dropped a big old drop. You may have seen my my reel on Instagram of the Old Fitz Bottled and Bond 13-year, the very, very special, the VVS version 13 years. So this is the 25th anniversary celebration bottle. And maybe I'll get this out of the way now. I've not really been one who's been a big fan of this Old Fitzgerald decanter series. There's been maybe one or two that I've liked. I think maybe an early 9-year I thought was good. There was a 13 or 14-year I thought was enjoyable. And then a recent, it wasn't the most recent, but like there was an 8-year before that was just very creamy, nutty. It's very straightforward. A lot of people didn't like it, but I kind of liked it in the straightforwardness. But in general, I haven't thought that they were all that great. But having the opportunity to go and go with a buddy to get this and not waste a lot of time, we went the morning of the release just hoping that they had a lot. About 6 a.m., line opened at 8 a.m., and it was great. It was a great morning. It was easy morning. It's one of the better releases that I've gone to in terms of ease, but there's a lot of people who came out for this. So it celebrates the 25th anniversary of acquiring the Bernheim Distillery in 1999, and this was distilled in 1999. It's 13 years old, so it was kind of protected, vatted, tanked, or whatever, and brought out for this release. So this is, whenever we talk about things like being like a Dusty, this is like kind of a, a Dusty, a bottle, modern release. Very exciting, very interesting, but very different. So let's jump into it. So this was distilled only a couple months after acquiring the Bernheim Distillery. I'd love to hear some comments down below. I mean, the language, it doesn't exactly say if it's Bernheim or if it's Heaven Hill distilled or, you know, whatever. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Love to be wrong down below. Not gonna detract me from this particular review. So without further ado, let's get into this quick review of this bottle. I think a lot of people are wondering, hey, how does this compare? There's mixed reviews on this because it is 100 proof and it's a very different flavor profile of whiskey. Man, that nose is awesome. I mean, it really is. This nose is, I don't necessarily think that the nose is like modern Dusty. It's like, it's got some kind of funky qualities, but it's just so perfumed and good. It's got this like barrel char, smoked rubber kind of thing. And some people are gonna hear this because it's early in the video. They're gonna turn it off and be like, this is why tasting notes are stupid. This is why reviewers are stupid. But I say that because it reminds me of a note from King, Kentucky, which has that kind of, you know, burnt tire type note to it. And more of you are tuning out. You're like, this guy's just such a dummy. But it's a very interesting quality to note. Otherwise, perfumed, honey, like a slight floral bouquet. It is a little bit nutty, but more than that, it's just very sweet. It's got a very nice, like almost almondy sweet oak in there as well. Man, it really is just a beautiful, beautiful nose. I could sit with this all day long. A lot of well-cooked caramel. There's like a baked apple note in there. There's also kind of a fresh cherry pie note as it cools off from that kind of like burnt rubber note. It's kind of tangy. It's kind of it's got like some zip to the nose. Definitely some oak. Definitely a little bit of pepper. Let's go ahead and dive in on the palate here. That's good. A lot of honey, a lot of caramel. It's very oak driven. The oak is not shy here. It's like a damp, mossy oak, which I personally love running into. Maybe you all would better like to hear that as rickhouse funk. Little ginger nipping around, good barrel char, slightly drying. I feel like it's got almost like a strawberry preserve or like raspberry. How I mentioned it the other day when I was talking to a buddy is that there are times where I talk about wine-soaked grapes or these fruit notes, and sometimes they can get over-exaggerated or they can be overripe fruits. And this is not that. It's close, but instead of like overripe cherry or something like that that might lean more into like a wild turkey tasting camp. This like rides close to the edge of it, but it never gets too much. And so it's more strawberry than it is cherry, more strawberry, raspberry, and it's not overly, it's not really overripe, but it's a little bit overripe, not too much. Very enjoyable as it lingers. So this is a profile that I think nose, high, front of palate, high. Middle of the palate finish, you can get a little bit of its proof, but coming back to this after the first couple of times I came to it, I enjoy the profile, the palate more. It's 100 proof, sure, but the flavors that come with it are incredible. And so if you don't mind the proof on that, you're gonna love this. If you like the barrel char, mature, brick house funk profile, this is all that this is. Then the long linger makes up for the fact that the middle finish of the palate was a little bit on the softer side of the proof, because the longer linger makes you think that you tasted something epic. I mean, which you did. It's got great linger of cocoa powder, tobacco, the kind of wet brick house funk, oak, earthiness, and it lasts for a really long time. This is one that you can sit with it. I just recommend that you sit with it. I mean, this is super enjoyable. This is something you bring out with people who enjoy really good whiskey, that you want to take time with, that you want to share something special with. You don't have to tell them the story. You don't have to flex anything like that. This is just, gosh dang, it is really, really good. I'm not going to compare it to other things in the series because I don't think it matches with other things in the series. This is fantastic. I mean, this is easily going to go in a list of whiskeys of the year for me. I am curious to see how it actually ends up doing because it is on the softer side. I feel like it could easily be beat by that. And so I give this kind of preface to you all in terms of like channels that you follow and whatnot in the year or right now. If it's somebody who generally goes after viscosity, proof, heaviness of flavors, I think that they're not going to score this very well. If they go after just like what it is, if they like oak, if they like complexity, I think that they're going to score this favorably. But just keep that point in mind towards the end of the year, because I think people who might be swayed more because of viscosity and because of proof are going to put a lot of other things ahead of this. I normally am one who goes after viscosity, like it does score higher, I think, for me. But the funky, fruity oakiness that's in this is like, it doesn't taste like anything of current. And for that reason, this is super special. This is super special. I would say if you like high-end whiskey, this is I mean, I haven't even talked about the fact this is wheated bourbon. I'm not really a big wheated fan either. This bottle is really something. If you enjoy whiskey, aside from being a proof hound, you're gonna love this. If you gotta have the proof, I don't think you're gonna enjoy this one, but there is something incredibly special about this Old Fitzgerald, and I thank Heaven Hill for giving people the opportunity to go after that. And I'd love to hear from you all. If you all get a chance to try it, let me know down in the comments below. If you were at the release and you were able to get one of these, I hope this video was helpful for you. My encouragement, definitely keep this bottle. Very enjoyable, very special. And in the grand scheme of things, it isn't that much money. I mean, it is. I mean, like, people are gonna be like, what are you freaking talking about? It's a whole lot of money. I get it. In the grand scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. Very, very special bottle. Highly recommended. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another video. Hope it was insightful. Hope it was informational. And until next time, we'll see you all later.